this is just an update. I mean, I've talked enough about this. I just want to. He seems to have provided a little bit more information in his write-up this time, or maybe I missed it last time. Um, I'm not going to criticize this explicitly so much as to clarify a bit of the language. These are these supposed probabilities. Like a probability of somebody winning an election, right? Our win probabilities come from simulating the election 10,000 times, which produces a distribution of possible outcomes for each state. There's no reason you can't do that, okay? In fact, it's pretty standard, okay? So long as you tell us that you're doing it, and he did. But you should realize immediately that this is a theoretical distribution based on his demographic modeling, and what he's consequently doing is merely attempting to measure error in his assumptions by pseudo-randomizing them. What you want is an empirical distribution. You don't have an empirical distribution, so you create one out of thin air. There's nothing else you can do. You can't find an empirical distribution from nowhere, so you pretend that you have a distribution by generating one. But that's circular logic because you created your distribution by your assumptions. I've stated this a few times already. I don't think that there's a meaningful way to assign a probability of victory in an election. And I think that if you take a step back and look at the map, you'll see that the Electoral College map hasn't really changed. So what are these probabilities he's talking about, right? I mean, you look at it and you say, okay, it looks like Trump is doing better in certain states, but he's not doing better in Virginia, he's not doing better in Colorado. Like, the likelihood of him winning the election has not changed, regardless of this, this masturbatory exercise that you're creating out of, the theoretical ideals, right? And so it's less about whether it's right or wrong, it's just I can't assign a meaning to it, right? You come up with your demographics, you run the experiment a whole bunch of times, and then you come up with a probability out of it. It's totally masturbatory. It has no bearing on reality. It has no implications towards reality. Completely theoretical. But it breaks down on a basic mathematical level when you look at the map. He said he had a 3% chance of winning before and a 48% chance of winning now. But his likelihood of winning in Virginia has not increased. His likelihood of winning in Colorado or Pennsylvania or any of these places has not increased. And so what does it mean to say that the probability has changed when he's no more likely to get to 270 votes than he was previously? The reason is because it's more likely that the extremely unlikely circumstances will. It's nonsense, okay? But again, I'm not going to say it's wrong. I'm just going to say it's meaningless. It's purely abstract, purely theoretical, totally masturbatory, and it has no implication at all on reality. Normally, when we talk about probabilities, we want to tie that in some way to reality. This does not exist in reality. This exists entirely in an abstract, theoretical universe, not our universe. It's its own universe. We're getting a little bit meta here, and I don't really want to get into it. We don't have to have this, 4,000-year-old discussion over whether numbers are real or not, right? $3,000 anyways, from what, at least as well as we can construct it. Maybe older. But just, I don't think I'm saying anything that you can't understand when I say that the universe that his math exists in is not the same universe that we exist in. And we consequently do not need to say that his probability is at all binding on anything that exists in our world. And like I say, if you take a step back and you look at it, and you just you drop the algorithms and the formulas and all of the rigor and everything, and you just look at it, nothing's changed, right? Except for the increased likelihood of unlikely events, which were always unlikely and which remain unlikely. Nothing that's happened gives him a higher chance of winning Virginia. Nothing that's happened gives him a higher chance of winning Pennsylvania. Nothing that's happened gives him a higher chance of winning Colorado. And so he still does not have a likely path. It may be more likely that the election will be closer, and I'll concede that, but I won't concede that he has a higher chance of winning based on the polling than he did previously. Regardless of, the algorithms that he put through. Because I'm not willing to assign a meaning to it in our universe. Math can get pretty trippy sometimes, huh?